Today, instead of some war that happens under the ocean where nothing they do affects us, Namor is relaxing and telling us a story.
It begins in the fortified isle of Latveria.
As far as I know, Latveria was never an island. It was a landlocked country in Central Europe. He got one thing correct, though. Dr. Doom runs the place. He's not a big fan of peace unless he's the one controlling it and enforcing it, which is to say, he wants to conquer the world. Yes, we know, but he has the resources to pull it off. He figures if he makes a shambles of this peace conference in their new building, it'll go a long way toward creating the chaos that he needs in the world so he can swoop in and fix it all, and all you have to do is bow down and swear loyalty to him.
The accursed Alliance for Peace is the greatest fighting team the world has ever known. Only one thing will be able to destroy them, an even greater team of super-powered foes. Yes, a veritable army of the most deadly villains alive.
He has a machine that can amplify certain emotions in people, and he's pointing it at every supervillain he can think of to create his evil team.
Be on guard, friends. My mutant brain senses danger.
Look! A drill pouring through the floor of the lobby.
Little did they dream that the Mole Man would dare attempt such a brazen attack.
We have a very toned-down Professor X here. In the early days, he had the ability to read minds and project his thoughts. Here, he's more like Deanna Troi. He senses feelings and things like that, but can't pin them down. Still, his X-Men should be able to handle this situation.
Hurry! The professor needs us.
But who dare threaten us now?
Whoever it is, we have the power to handle them.
An immodest remark, but voracious withal, partner.
Hurry! There he is!
I started reading Marvel Comics because I got interested in Iron Man. But when I discovered the X-Men, I knew I was completely roped in. These are the OG X-Men. From left to right, we have Scott Summers, or Cyclops, when he's in costume. Next to him is Jean Grey, or Marvel Girl, whose telekinetic power wasn't that strong at this point, but the professor was working with her to develop it. The guy with wings is Warren Worthington III, also known as Angel. I hope his ability is obvious. The guy in the funny pose is Hank P. McCoy, or Beast. His power lies in his oversized, powerful hands and feet. His feet are also prehensile. He can use them like hands. Later on, he'll turn blue and furry and look like Frasier, but that's a long way down the road. And finally, the youngest member of the team, 16-year-old Bobby Drake, a.k.a. Iceman. And in the comics, he was not this doofus. He didn't wear boots and a swimsuit. He had a full outfit like the others, but when he iced up, it was hidden. All of it. I don't know who this guy is, but he's not the Bobby I know. Still, they all know what to do.
My stun staff will drive you back.
Jean will keep him off balance telekinetically. One high-intensity power blast ought to stop his army of subterraneans.
If you'll wait after class, we'll be glad to review this lesson in tactics.
That was pure Hank right there. It's funny, for the first 2 issues of X-Men, he was a crude, not too bright musclehead, similar to Ben Grimm in the Fantastic Four. For example, in the second issue, they were fighting the Vanisher, and Hank managed to rescue some important briefcase. He came trotting back to the team and said, "Hey, look at me, I'm a regular hero." In the third issue, he would have said the same thing, only with 3 times as many words, and most of them having 4 syllables or more. There's an exchange between him and Bobby somewhere in the comics that I partially memorized because it was so good. Bobby was chiding him about using so many big words. Hank said, "Big words? I haven't the slightest glimmer of comprehension as to the significance of that obtuse reference." It was a good change because it broke the stereotype of the strongest guy also being the least cranially developed. Hank McCoy turned that trope on its head. In the process, he became a lot of people's favorite because he liked to show it off, and he especially liked to rub Bobby's nose in it. The two were the best of friends, and often when Hank would go off on one of his vocabulary expeditions, he and Bobby would carry on like brothers.
Now all we've got to do is find a way to cork 'em up.
We've got them on the run. They're racing back underground.
I suppose we leave that to our frigid fighting friend.
Yes, sir. One cork coming up. There. That solid mass of ice will seal the opening.
Teamwork has driven the Mole Man back underground. Dr. Doom said he was assembling a team, but if he's going to send them one at a time, he may need to develop a better understanding of the word team. He starts assembling an actual gathering of more than one, and we see the Mandarin, the Black Knight, the Mad Thinker and his android, and a whole bunch of others heading for the peace building.
But luckily, not all who head for the peace building are perpetrators of evil.
One of mankind's defenders. He must be annihilated. None shall stop the Super Skrull from his mission of destruction.
A Super Skrull who promptly disappears and is never mentioned again after Thor bashes him. We don't even get to see his face. Maybe that's just as well.
At that moment, in far-off Atlantis, I was receiving the unexpected news of the fearful invasion of evil which menaced all of mankind. And I learned that the greatest danger of all was suddenly rising out of the sea. Atuma.
Atuma has a serious mad-on for Namor and Atlantis. Dr. Doom's machinist amplified that, so he's just mad at everything.
First, the villains attempt to destroy the peace building, then the city.
My goal is nothing less than conquest. Look out for his eye blast ray!
Avengers assemble! We don't dare be defeated!
If these images are starting to confuse you, you're not alone. This story appeared in Fantastic Four Annual number 3, even though here the Fantastic Four never put in an appearance. As if that's not weird enough, we have the Avengers fighting alongside the X-Men, even though at this stage nobody's really supposed to know who the X-Men are. Besides his massive army, Atuma has a special bomb just for the peace building. Too bad for him that Angel is on the job. He knows only one thing is going to send Atuma back where he came from.
Jump! Leave him alone on the truck! It will blow up as soon as it hits something!
Right. But it'll hit what I aim it for. So far, so good. Now, turn this bomb back on the agents of evil.
Atuma is astounded at the careening truck coming his way. The water in the harbor cushioned the bomb's impact. No one is harmed except Atuma's vast force.
And there it is. We've seen again and again that nobody and nothing can stand up to a baroom sound effect. Doom's army of goons has failed big time, but he can still influence Namor.
What now? A surface mortal dares invade the privacy of Prince Namor?
I come in peace, Submariner.
Doom says, I know you want to wipe out the surface dwellers, and I'm the guy to help you do it. He has a little device with a magnet powerful enough to lift just about anything. He gives a demonstration, and Namor is duly impressed. Doom says, now I'll take it apart, and you can hide the components in your belt buckle. I'm not sure why Namor is going along with this unless Doom's machine is messing with his head.
I've come to seek your trust. Mine is indeed a lonely kingdom, and a lasting friendship may prove of more value than any fleeting taste of revenge.
Very impressive, Submariner. But how do we know it's not a plot?
He should know just by reading Namor's mind. Charles Xavier went on to be considered the most powerful mutant in the world. Not here.
Suddenly, a loud tremor shakes the entire building. Slowly, the great skyscraper begins to rise from its foundations.
The building! It's floating into the air!
We're going higher, faster.
This is your doing, Submariner! You can stop this!
I can't, you fools! I merely planted the trap. But it has been triggered by Dr. Doom.
It's not his fault. All he did was make it possible. And I still don't get why. His relationship with the surface is complicated, but at various times he's been with the Avengers and other heroes battling evil right alongside them. He doesn't like what we do to his oceans, and that apparently is enough to make people consider him hostile. But to my knowledge, he's never attacked a surface dweller who didn't have it coming. Doom is pulling the building with his plane, and he's taking them clear into space. He intends to set it on a collision course with the sun.
If we can't stop him, we're done for.
When Warren realized that, he decided he might as well get comfortable. That's why he's suddenly in his underwear.
A speeding comet strikes a dead sun. The catastrophic explosion rents the heavens apart, sending a swarm of meteors racing through the universe.
Well, isn't that convenient? Why do I say that?
With the agility of a porpoise, the courage of a tiger shark, the mighty Prince of Atlantis leaps from meteorite to meteorite.
Oh, I forgot. Sir Nitpick is out of town, so I have to do this. Those aren't meteorites. When they're in space, they're meteoroids. When they're burning up in the atmosphere, they're meteors. When they're on the ground, they're meteorites. Whatever they are, they're stepping stones to get Namor to Doom's plane. What's he breathing? Courage and nobility, of course.
Now for the reckoning.
But suddenly, at the flip of a control lever from inside the ship, an all-powerful band of magnetism pins the Submariner to the steel hull of the cabin.
Namor says, well, down is the direction I need anyway, so just go with it.
Nothing shall keep me from Dr. Doom.
But unknown to Submariner, Dr. Doom has set another trap. He presses a button and...
Yeah, go with that. The whole room is electrified.
I stored that charge like an electric eel, and now I'm returning it at full voltage.
I must get out before I'm electrocuted.
Doom hops one of the meteoroids and speeds away. But without his gadgets, he can't control it, and when he sees that it's heading for deep space, he realizes what a mistake he made. Namor takes control of the plane and returns the building to its foundation.
Now I too shall return to my proper place, until the day when the human race in Submariner can live in peace and share the precious bonds of friendship.
I'd say you did a pretty good job of that just then, but we have to have an excuse to send Namor back to Atlantis. I don't blame the heroes for being suspicious. He did tell them he planted the grabber that caused all this, and I still don't know why. He caused the problem and then decided he was the one to fix it. Namor is supposed to be a complex character, and as I said, his relationship with the surface is equally complex. But I see why this Namor couldn't stay around and try to be friends. He's a flake.
Stronger than a whale, he can swim anywhere.
He can breathe underwater and go flying through the air.
The noble Submariner, prince of the deep, will be waiting any demon. Lord Namor of Atlantis is the prince of the deep.
OG X-Men. The Molmac, the Fantastic Net 4, not here. Not here! Down is the direct... I'd say you're pretty good